welcome back to another video. I'm joined today with a special guest, which is Christopher Howell.
Hi.
Would you just like to give a brief introduction about yourself, please?
Oh, well, I mean, asking an actor to talk about themselves is never brief, but I'll have a go. Hi, everyone. My name's Chris Howell. I've been an actor for quite a while, and I've been lucky enough to be in quite a few West End musicals, done some bits of filming and television, and I'm delighted to be here talking to you all today. So, hello.
Great. So I asked my Instagram followers just to give you a few questions. Then at the end is just a quick fire round. So let's get started. So the first question is, what made you want to get into musical theatre?
I think it was something I always did. So I used to. My mum and dad were missionaries, were vicars. So I was always around music and singing, and my mum used to be a singer as well. So she sung a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan stuff, and so I always grew up with that music. And I remember, you know, in the days of vinyl, I remember always loving stuff like The Sound and Music, musicals, Oliver, and I think I always sung along to it. And then as a child, I did bits of performing. So I think it's something I just always wanted to do. I love the medium of it, you know, the art form of it.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. I mean, why say something when you sing it, eh? So yeah, I think that's what I always used to do. It wasn't. I can't say it was any one thing. If I'd blame one person, I'd blame mum. It's my mum's fault.
So a lot of people will know that you was involved in the musical Wicked. So what would you say that the best part about being in Wicked was?
So I think the best part of being in Wicked was being in Wicked. I think because when I did it, I think it was only like 5 years old, and I just think it's just a brilliant show, and I think it's a show that hopefully won't ever go away. I think it's all about friendship, and it's all about being brave and being unique and being who you are. And I think that's a big part of the enjoyment of it. Also, they've got a really, really loyal group of fans, and they were just brilliant people. They never got in the way. They were never, you know, they weren't crazy. They were just really nice, predominantly ladies, and that was a nice thing as well. I'm still in touch with them now, actually. Just, you know, it's sort of gone beyond me being. I did 2 contracts in that show, and it's gone beyond that. But I think the thing about Wicked is it's just got this amazing score, this amazing story. It's in a beautiful theatre. Everything's looked after and maintained so wonderfully and so well by the producers, and then, you know, by the wardrobe team and the wigs team and the resident director and the musicians and everything. I think it's just a real privilege to be in it. And I guess part of me could still be there now, because I bet, you know, I know it's corny, but it's really sort of homely place, you know. But I sort of moved on to do another show. But it's just a wonderful building, and also singing that stuff every night, you know, singing the opening every night with that orchestra and all those wonderful cast members is just amazing. So I think it's a real sort of because everyone does everything. Most of the principals are also in the ensemble at the beginning of the show. It's nice to do a show where everyone's kind of together, and I think that's a really good thing about it too. So the best thing about being in Wicked was being in Wicked. I hope that's all right. Is that a rubbish answer?
No,
is that a rubbish answer?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So the next question is, what is the best job you have done?
That's like saying, do you have a favourite child? I think the best job I've ever done, I could probably tell you the 4 best jobs I've ever done. I think that's so. I really a year before last, I got to play Nathan Detroit opposite Rhea Jones in the original French production of Guys and Dolls, which was just incredible. So living and working in Paris for a few months, just amazing, because Paris is amazing. It's before this madness that we're in now happened. I'll always be really proud of being in Anything Goes at National Theatre production that Stephen Mear, another actually Stephen Mear did Guys and Dolls as well. Then that Anything Goes is just like this sort of landmark show, and everyone still talks about that show now. I feel really proud to have been in sort of original shows as well. So being in like Betty Blue Eyes, again for Stephen Mear, was incredible. And I say, if I'd say the last one, well, probably my first job, and that was a play with David Suchet, and I had to be a tap dancing pixie, a singing rent boy, and a 6'2" rabbit. So yeah, they're my favourites.
Great. So the next question is, out of all the characters you have played, which one is most similar to your personality?
I don't know. That's a brilliant. Whoever asked that question, that's a really brilliant question. A really hard one as well. Who's most similar to my personality? I think maybe I've done 42nd Street twice. So I did it at Chichester Festival, and was in the one at Drury Lane. And I think possibly Bert Barry is quite like me. Not only that he wears glasses, but I think we're quite similar as people. I'd imagine we were quite similar as people. Sort of like sometimes a little bit awkward. I think quite caring, and love show business. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Bert Barry, 42nd Street. So
if every character you have played met in person, what do you think would happen?
That's brilliant as well. If every character I've ever played, well, wow, I don't know. I think it would probably be a big party. I think there'd be lots of fun. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the same room as Sweeney Todd and be on his hit list. Do you know what I mean? Any animals I played would probably be eaten. But I think there'd be lots and lots of fun. I tend to play in my career. I play sort of best friends or baddies. So I probably have two rooms and put all the baddies in one room and all the best friends in the other room, and sort of jump in and out of both rooms. But I don't know. Yeah, that is an absolutely brilliant question. Never been asked that before. That's brilliant. Yeah, I think I'd have to have two rooms, definitely, and have all the nutters in one room and all the baddies in the other room, and just sort of like run in between them with vol-au-vents and make sure all the cutlery was plastic.
So the next question is, what is your favourite memory from Wicked?
From Wicked? I think it was probably the first time you ever sing with that orchestra is just amazing. I'd say that was one. We met loads and loads of famous people. So because I'm a bit older than I imagine a lot of people watching this, meeting Billy Idol was amazing. And I was on as the wizard that night, and he told me how much he liked my coat. I think, and then I'd say the second best memory was being the wizard for the first time, and I was lucky enough to play the wizard for quite a lot of time. Well, unlucky in the respect that both the gentlemen that were the wizard became ill, and then one of them had to leave early, so I got to play the wizard for quite a long time. So yeah, I think that's, and I've given you two answers there. So if I have to say an answer, it'd be the first night singing with the orchestra, and also until you get in that show, you don't realise how much the fans, or the Green Girls as they're sometimes called, absolutely love that show. And then you just feel all this massive load of love coming from the first front rows, and there's all these people dressed up as their favourite characters. And I went in there as Dr. Dillerman, and I never ever thought there'd be a Dr. Dillerman fan, but someone used to come with a blanket and a goat's head on, and I used to really love that. It was just really nice, dressed as a goat, to sing to one other goat out there. That was really good. So yeah, probably. So in answer to the question, it's probably just the first time with an audience is just incredible.
So another show that you was involved in was Hairspray, and someone has asked, what was the best thing about playing Edna Turnblad in Hairspray?
Oh well, it's just, I think it's just one of the greatest parts ever. The best thing is I've done that. I did that. I was doing that show just for the lockdown in a prison. Nikki Williston, who's a director, called me up and said, "Would you come and do it?" And so they hired Chloe Hart, myself, and 9 other guys, Darren Bennett, great people, to do this show. And we did it inside Bronzefield Prison, which is an all-female prison. And so that was amazing to do it with these female prisoners. That was and it was just incredible. But going back to the question, so I've deviated there. The best thing is there's a song called Welcome to the 60s, and Tracy takes Edna shopping. I mean, you probably all know the show, right? And Tracy takes Edna shopping, and they end up at the Hardy Har Hut, and Tracy's going to become this sort of the model for Hardy Har Hut. And in that number, Edna does this massive change, and I think the greatest moment is just getting through that change and always being, yeah, and then you have to do it in like a minute or something, and literally there's 6 people around you, and they like take your wig off and they change your makeup, and you take your dress off, and then they put this fabulous outfit on you, and you get a new wig and new makeup, and then you have to sort of back out the door and turn around and go, "Oh, I'm here and I'm fabulous." And I think the greatest thing about that is always being on time for that. And I'm doing it again this summer, doing the job again. I can't wait, and hopefully, well, I'm sort of standing by for Michael Ball, so I think there's a few days advertised on the website that was available. So we need to know that I'll do that again. And probably this time I'm probably the right age to do it. But I think the greatest moment of hair is in that chain. And then when you come out of the hairspray can at the end and you're in that big red dress, and everyone, and they're in the middle of you, can't stop the beat, and everyone's going crazy. I mean, yeah, really hard. You know, what is in that show works so hard. Like the nicest kids, to mouth kids, the principals, you know, the stage crew, the wigs, the wardrobe. Everyone is like, when that show starts, it just doesn't. It's like this massive roller coaster. But I think the best thing is it has a real hard atmosphere, and I think, you know, everyone leaves the theatre really happy, and I think the cast also and the crew and everybody leave the theatre really happy, but everyone's up because the music's so up and happy, and it's such a positive message. I really can't wait to be in that bar again. So touch wood. I think we're supposed to be opening the week of the 20th of June around there. We'll all be happening. Everyone's safe, and lots of people will they come back to the theatre. And I hope everyone comes to see Hairspray, because I think it's the sort of show that everyone needs right now. So
Yeah, 100%.
So thank you, Ryan.
So the next question is, if you could return to any of your previous roles, which one would you choose?
I would have said Hairspray, but I'm getting to do that. Oh, that question. What would I do? I'd like to. I did Made in Dagenham, and I ended up being the swing on that show, but I got to play Prime Minister Wilson. I'd like to play Harold Wilson again, having some time in it, because it's really good fun, I think. And I think I'd really love to do. I'd love to do Anything Goes again. I'd love to do Stephen and Trevor's production of Anything Goes again, because I just think, you know, it's coming to town. It's coming to town. They've got a fabulous new cast, you know, and it's going to be a fabulous new production. It's a broad production. It's amazing. But there was something I think it was Stephen Mears' best ever choreography of that show, and he should have won the Olivier. So I'm obviously pro Stephen there. I'd like to do that again, I think. Yeah, that and Made in Dagenham, I think.
So the next question is, what advice would you give to people who want to get into musical theatre?
All right. I get asked this a lot, so I'll give you the first answer. And the one that comes to my head is that I remember once when I was a lot younger, someone interviewed Liza Minnelli. Everyone knows who Liza Minnelli is, don't they? Judy Garland's daughter. And they said, Liza, what's the easiest way to get onto Broadway? And she said, practice. And I think that's the advice we should all take. I think if you really want to do it, and I think only do it if you get up every morning and think, you know, you should only do whatever you think about and love all the time. So if you get up like every morning and like, I really want to be in musicals, and that's all you can think about. And you sing all the time, and you go dancing, and you love acting, you love being other people, you like telling stories that way. Then do it. But I think now there's so many people want to do it. You know, there's this thing called the Glee effect, and I guess your generation of the people that had Glee when you were younger, and that really inspired loads of people to sort of sing and dance. And I think
Glee is my favourite show. I love it.
I still love it now as well.
I
still love it.
I am an absolute gleek. Like, I can't get enough of it.
I love that. I think it was brilliant. I think what he did, and also I think like Pitch Perfect as well. That sort of stuff. Now, it never used to be cool to be to want to be a performer, did it? It never used to be cool. And I think shows like that have gone, well, actually, everyone can do it. And I think that's why Glee was so good, because you had all these different types of people. You had nerds, you had the cheerleaders, you had jocks, you had the bad boy, all that. And I think that sort of made it really cool and validated it. And I think there's a thing called the Glee effect, and lots of people fell into performing and wanted to do it because of that show. And I think that's brilliant. But it is hard work, and I think you've got to be 100% committed to it. You've got to really believe you can do it, and don't stop believing. There you go. That's corny. But I think also you've just got to practice hard. So you've got to go dancing. You've got to keep your singing up. You've got to keep your acting up. And I think going to see things as well. And also, it's great. I think you doing things like this is sort of outreaches to lots of people that love it. And so, big up you for doing these interviews. You've spoken to some. I was looking at people you've spoken to. It's amazing. I feel very flattered to be here. And I think you've got so much at your fingertips now on YouTube and stuff. Just keep watching it and just keep deciding exactly what thing you want to do. Because I don't think anything's impossible, and I think if you want something enough, it will happen. So I think just keep practicing, keep working, keep loving what you do, and I think that's the way you succeed. It's about passion. Was that a really long, rambly answer? You would tell me.
No, not
you're welcome. You're welcome to get a buzzer and press a buzzer if I go on too long. It's up to you.
Oh, don't worry about it. So the next question is, what is your favourite memory from Hairspray?
My favourite memory from Hairspray? I think it probably was. I joined her. I started the show on the Tuesday, and on the Tuesday night I had to go on for the male authority figure. So my first night. And then on the Saturday that week, I had to go on as Edna, and so I had to kind of learn the whole thing in 5 days. And I think, and then the Americans were still there. The Americans looked after the show was still there, and I think the sense of achievement doing that was just amazing. So I think it was just getting on and doing it, and I think it was that, just like having very little time, but working really. I knew I kind of knew it was happening, so I had something really to work towards. So I think the sense of achievement of doing that. But you know what, but it's like any job, the greatest memory is probably getting the job and being up there and doing it. And it's always really scary when you have to step in for a celebrity, and I had to do it quite a few times. You stand by and you wait in the wings, and you're there for insurance, to understudy and to be there in case they get sick. I mean, and it's always nice when you go on and you do that, you play that role, and the audience clap you and they approve of you and they say, and you don't disappoint them. I had to, a couple of years ago, I was doing Goldilocks and the Three Bears at London Palladium, and Paul O'Grady was like the headline name in it, with Julian Clary. And Paul got really, really ill, and so the run up to Christmas, he wasn't there, and I had to go on and play his part, and it was really scary, because they're kind of the busiest shows in the pantomime just before Christmas. Obviously, every year Christmas panto, and I think when you're doing those sort of jobs, I think it's just knowing that the audience will stay and they listen, and at the end they clap you and they laugh at you, because it's hard when you're not the celebrity, but you're the actor that's playing the part. So I think, in answer to the Hairspray question, it was like going on, and the audience sort of saying, well, okay, we really wanted to see whoever the celebrity was, or we really wanted to see Paul O'Grady or whoever that was, and then going, but you did really well as well. So that's the nicest memory of those of that show and the pantomime.
So the next question is, what is the most
Can I just
important thing?
Sorry. For some reason, it's gone really dark. That's better. Cool.
So the next question is, what is the most embarrassing thing to ever happen to you on stage?
Oh, okay. So I did, in 1997, I was in a show called Elvis the Musical. And we toured, because it was the 20th anniversary of Elvis's death. So Elvis Presley died. He was the king of rock and roll. You all know who Elvis Presley is, right? And he died in 1977. So we did the 20th anniversary of his death tour, and it was did the tour and then went into town. And we were playing at the Piccadilly Theatre for this season to commemorate the passing of Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. And I remember we got to Liverpool, and I was dancing downstage left with my dance partner, who is now a very, very, very famous casting director. I had to pick her up and do this pencil lift. So it's where the guy picks the girl up and holds her up, and she's like, well, it's like a pencil. She's like a pencil. You're holding her like that. And my arm failed, and we both fell off the stage and fell into the orchestra pit. So that was really embarrassing. In Anything Goes, we had authentic sailor costumes on, and I was one of the there's 4 sea shanty sailors in it, and they do this close harmony stuff. And we had to do this thing. We had to run up the stairs, and I was at the top of the front of the group, and I tripped over my bell bottom and took myself and Annette McLaughlin's friend Irma out. I did that. And in Fame at the Victoria Palace, I was the musician, and I had a trumpet on my back, and I fell over, and I was stuck in the middle of the stage with this, and because I had the trumpet on my back, I couldn't get up, and all this ballet dance happened around me. So I think they're the 3 most embarrassing things. Oh yeah, and I seem to fall over. I hope no producers are looking. I'm not clumsy, but in 42nd Street, Emma Caffrey, who played Anytime Annie, had this big bouquet of flowers, and we were singing Shuffle Off the Buffalo, and a rose fell out, and I did this massive skid and went flat on my back. So my most embarrassing things involve me falling over. But I'm not clumsy. He said dropping a pen. No, I'm not clumsy, but yeah, that's it. I mean, I think I've forgotten lines a couple of times as well, but only a couple of times. And someone normally feeds you the right line anyway. But generally, with me, it'll be accidents. I fell over in My Fair Lady as well when I was being a horse. Yeah, falling over. What's that about? I clearly need to do shows where I'm sat down. Maybe I need to be on like a chair on wheels. Do you know what I mean? On the platform, people just push me around, and they'd be certain that they wouldn't have to pay physio bills if I fell over. So yeah, they're my most embarrassing things. It normally involve falling over. I don't think any costumes have fallen off me. I don't think so. I've never forgotten to come on. No, it's falling over.
So the next question is, what is your favourite movie musical?
Singing in the Rain first, because I think that's just a brilliant film, and I think Lena Lamont is one of the funniest characters ever, and who can beat Gene Kelly? And then up there with that is The King and I, because when I was a kid, my mum and I we used to have a date. We used to live in a place called Beckenham, it was South London, and there was 2 screens at the local Odeon, and every Saturday afternoon they used to show all of the old movie musicals. And the first one my mum ever took me to was The King and I. And so I guess, yeah, I must have been like 5 or 6 or something. But I always loved doing it. I told you that before, like I was performing when I was a kid. And I think, yeah, it was. So it's probably Singing in the Rain or The King and I. For one, because it's just brilliant, and one for real sentimental reasons. I think The King and I is amazing as well. And I went to see it when it was at the Palladium a couple of years ago with what's her name? That Kelly O'Hara, that American woman came over to do it. Phenomenal actress. And I remember just sitting. I remember sat there, and I was just thinking about my mum, and I just started crying. I sat there crying and thinking, "What are you doing? You're a middle-aged man. You know, you've got a dog. Why are you crying?" And And it's just, they got to getting to know you. Oh no, I whistle a happy tune, which is like really on in the show. Thinking about my life and stuff. And this little American woman next to me said, "Do you want a tissue, dear?" So I just sat there sobbing with this tissue and told all about it. So, oh my, I'm giving you really long answers. You're getting your money's worth. Just press the buzzer if I speak too much. So yeah, I think they're my answers. And of the new films, I think Hairspray movie is a really good movie. I think Moulin Rouge is a really good movie. And I'm looking forward to seeing In the Heights movie because I think that looks incredible. So yeah, but they're my favourites.
So the next question is, do you have any pre-show rituals?
Well, remember to put your costume on. I was told once that when you, and I think this is really good advice, because you rehearse and you that's what you do, and so your part by the time you get to do it. And I was told never ever, only ever think about the first line you've got to say. So that's one thing I always do. I always just think of the first line I've got to say in the play or the show or whatever. And I hate rushing, so I'll always go downstairs. Basically, your half hour call, your quarter, the 5, and then beginners. That's the thing. You get 4 calls when you're backstage. And I always go downstairs at the quarter and just sit quietly and just think about what I've got to do. So yeah, they're my rituals. But I know some people will touch the toes and turn around 3 times and say gobbledygook or whatever. But I don't do any of that. Drink loads of water, maybe talk to my dresser, talk to a couple of people downstairs, and just really be chilled about it all. So yeah, they're my rituals.
So the next question is, do you have any behind the scenes stories that you can share or want to share?
Behind the scenes? What do you mean, gossip?
If you want to put it that way.
I don't. No, touch wood. I was doing okay. I'll tell this story, but I'm not going to say what it was. I was on tour with a show, and I was understudying the lead character, and the production didn't have understudy costumes for me yet, and so I was a lot thinner then. I was slimmer then, and I am like 5'11", 6 foot, and the first cast guy was 5'7", so I had to put his costume on. I squeezed into his costume, which was a bit like putting toothpaste back into a tube. Imagine that. But they had to run around the building, and they were finding soft furnishings, and they were adding them to my costumes. They fit me. So that's true. That's a true story. But I'm not saying what it was. But I don't think. Do I have anything? No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, I used to play Scrabble with Marty Pello in Chicago, and we had the game of Scrabble going every night. And we would really concentrate because there's a scene at the top where they pop up but I used to play Scrabble with Marty Pello a lot. So there's one name droppy one and one gossipy one. There you go.
So the final question for this bit is one that I'm asking everyone, obviously, since the big announcement was made. How do you feel now that Boris has finally mentioned theatres and that they can reopen in May?
I think it's obviously brilliant. I don't think that he's looked after us very well, but I mustn't get political, must I? I won't. In fact, don't. Do you know what? Can you edit this? Mm. If you can't edit it, no, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's brilliant. I hope that everyone approaches. I hope that everyone books to go again. I hope everyone feels confident enough to go again. I hope that people approach it with caution as well. I was working at Christmas time, and we got to do 7 shows, and then it got closed. So naturally, I'm sceptical, but I'm just delighted. I really believe that everyone's going to just go back with a vengeance. But I just hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone keeps themselves safe and well. I'm currently just been directing a drama school show at the moment. I've got so many friends of mine that aren't involved with the drama school, but they just tuned in to watch it because the show's being streamed live every night. It's tonight and tomorrow night as well. It's Spring Awakening at PPA Academy. I think you still get tickets online. Should you fancy a bit of live theatre, guys? It's very cheap, and the cast are great. And I think you can tell that people are hungry for it by the success of all the stuff that's streamed. Like, I think if you guys watch The Colour Purple or Sunset Boulevard, there's been quite a lot of concerts, and I think there's a real hunger and appetite for it. So I think it's brilliant news. I just hope that everyone stays safe. I hope everyone's sensible in the run up to then, because obviously if there's I think now we can meet, as we record now, you can meet, 6 people can meet in the garden, can't they? And then in a couple of weeks' time, the pubs will be open, and you think, well, everything has to happen in the order they've decided it has to happen in. So I just really hope it does happen, and I really hope everyone's really safe and respects the rules, because I was speaking to a friend this morning, and we're just all so desperate, and we're so hungry to get back to work and to get back to what we do. So obviously I'm delighted, but I really hope that everyone's cautious about it and looks after themselves. Because I think if we all look after ourselves, then we're gonna sort of beat this virus, and things like theatre can open again, and maybe you can go to a pub with your friends, or go to a restaurant, and get your hair cut. I mean, hair, come on. I mean, I feel really blessed I've got it, but I've had to wet it before coming on to you today, because otherwise I look like Albert Einstein or something. It's just crazy. Can I say that? That's fine. Yeah, so in answer to your question, you're going to think, what is this? This guy is insane. I never want to speak to him again. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
So just to finish things off, there's just a quick fire round.
Okay.
So, favourite musical?
Sweeney Todd.
Plays or musicals?
Musicals.
Show you want to see after lockdown?
This is quick fire as well, isn't it? Cinderella came to my head, so Cinderella.
West End or Broadway?
West End.
Show you want to see revived?
La Cage aux Folles.
Favourite theatre you have performed in?
Theatre Road, Drury Lane.
And finally, one question that caused the debate. Is cereal soup?
No.
Honestly, the looks I've had from asking that question.
Who asked you that? Where's that question come from?
So basically, when I was coming up with the quick fire round questions,
yeah,
I basically got the question off the UK tour queens of 6.
Yeah.
And it was just Lauren Burns' reaction that made me just want to ask people, is cereal soup?
Brilliant. Well, it's brilliant. Brilliant. 6. I want to see 6 as well, because my friend Sophie Isaacs is playing Howard now. I want to go. I think 6 is brilliant. I want to go and see her do her thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing to see when it opens. Yeah. Cool.
So there you go, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you all soon for another video.